Hi everybody, this is Mr. Roche. We are working with Onshape and we are working on a box, and this is one of the basic features that Onshape does is it does this thing called extruding, and that's how you make a 3D shape. But the process is to make a drawing, then to on a plane, and then you basically extrude from the drawing into like a 3D space. And we're gonna go over that now. So this is just kind of a review. Okay, so we're looking at Onshape, and you guys have accounts at this point. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna sign in. This takes you to where you are. Okay, I'm like Rochebox on this, but this takes you to a place where it has kind of a files of all the projects you've been working on. Okay, so I showed you this card before. We're gonna start fresh. You guys don't have a lot of projects yet, but you will. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new project. And what we want to do is we want to create this thing. They call this a part studio, which allows you to make a bunch of different parts inside one grouping and then assemble them. And we're going to call this box project fall like 2002. And you can put your first name. You might have to share this, so I need to know kind of who's who here. But this is me, and don't put your last name here, and we'll see what happens. Here it goes. Okay. So what happens is you get this sort of 3D world to design, okay? And I'm orbiting right now. You can zoom in on it. You can pan it. Okay, those are the things we know how to do. And it's very important to be able to pan, zoom, and orbit. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little box, okay? So this should be pretty quick. What you do basically is you pick a plane, you draw something on it, and then you use one of these things to kind of blow up your box and make it 3D, okay? Thing we're going to use today is this guy called Extrude, okay? And there are other ones that are cool, like one's called a Revolve, which you might use to make like a nose cone on a rocket or something like that. These are sweeps which connect shapes together. This is a loft, which will allow you to take like a odd shape over here and connect it to another kind of shape. So this does all the calculations to kind of make that look good. These are sort of more complicated, so these are the basic two. And there are other things you can use to kind of like create edges, different kinds of edges on your shapes when you make them. This lets you like take the middles out of things, so we're going to use this for the box. Things like that. This allows you to make a hole. So there's a whole bunch of things here. We're basically working on this today, okay? But these are the 3D shapes, okay? So that's something to know, okay? Now what we need to do is make a drawing, and another thing too is that we're going to need to have some dimensions to it. So there's something you have to look at up here that we want to get into in the document menu, just to make sure that we're working with the dimensions we understand. Okay. So we're back, and this is the document menu. This thing. It kind of looks like Google stuff a little bit. And what we're going to do is we are just going to check this one thing called Workspace Units, okay? It's important you kind of understand what you're working with, okay? And the biggest one is this, okay? Like if you're designing a house, you would change it into feet. If you're designing like a golf course, you might try yards or something like that. If you're in Europe, you might use meters, okay? Generally, for like little parts, you're either using centimeters or inches. One thing, I'm going to change it to inches, or I'm going to make sure that mine's in inches. I kind of work in inches. But one thing you have to know is when you export them, you probably want to convert everything back to centimeters because the default of the printers tends to be centimeters, okay? So working in inches is fine. It's just when it leaves Onshape, it wants to probably be centimeters. So we'll go with inches right now, okay? Degrees are also good. Like you don't want to have it tell you what radians are. That would be very, very complicated, but everybody sort of understands degrees. So these are the two basic things you want to check. And that comes from this little place called the document menu, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to select a plane to work on. Okay, so in selecting a plane, you can really work on any plane you want, but the basic idea is you have to have some spot to work from to do your drawing. And in the beginning, what you have are these planes. Okay, it's generally advantageous to know where your center point is and things like this, but it's not absolutely crucial. But it's a good thing to do. But I'm going to work from the top. So I'm going to build the bottom of the box here and then kind of extrude up. Okay. Or else I could kind of make the box so that the center point's kind of like dead center in it and stuff like that. And what you do basically is you click on it. Okay. So if you click on the top, it looks like this. If I clicked on the side, okay, this is clicking two of them. I don't like that, so I want to turn them all off. I'm going to click on this, right? But I could pick like all three of them if I wanted to. That would be, I don't know how, it would be hard to make a drawing like that, but I could do it. And then if I make a mistake, I can just click out of it. That's what I'm trying to show you. So I'm going to go like this and make sure I'm on my top plane here. And then I'm going to go like this and say new sketch. Okay. This gets me a sketch. I can actually change the name of this if I want. Okay. Let me see if I can do that right now. I'll just say box bottom. Okay. And it is good to like have some understanding of what these things are. So see how it changes there. And this will sort of track everything for you. Okay. When I did that, it kind of closed the sketch. So what I have to do is go back to it. Okay. Make sure this is up here like this, because then you're on the sketch. And another thing too is when you get out of the sketches, one way to know where you are is that these are the 3D tools. And when I click on this, these turn into 2D drawing tools. Okay. And that's the thing. So if you don't see this and you don't see these, then you know you're not in the sketch and you won't be able to sketch. But what we got to do first is sketch. So I could start drawing right here, but it's kind of like weird. So what I want to do is I want to have the paper sort of face me. Most people would do this. Some drawing programs automatically do it. Onshape doesn't do that. So you have to right click on the plane, this thing that says sketch, and you're going to say view normal to sketch plane. And then there I got my sketch. And you can kind of see where you are. Okay. I'm a little upside down, so I'm going to reorient myself. Okay. And I'm ready to go. Okay. And so what I want to do now is I want to draw a cube. Okay. Okay. So when you're drawing a cube, you have some options here. You can do a rectangle from corners, okay, like that, okay, and this is like just going like this. You just have 2 points, right? And we'll get into that. Control Z that. And or you can do it from the center, okay. And in this case, since we're trying to keep this centered, I might try to do this. So that's the center rectangle, and what's going to happen is it's going to draw a thing that's totally centered on the middle, okay? And that's sort of good for a couple of reasons, because it kind of finds your center. So if we need to put feet on this or something like that, we'd have some idea what it's going to do, okay? And it just kind of gives it a place in the world, okay? So when you do this, what's going to happen is it also shows that it's fully enclosed, which is good. Okay. Another thing that's happening right now is it wants to know absolute dimensions from me. When you do this sort of by hand, and you don't see how it says 2.5.2 inches. That's sort of like odd. So what I want to do is I want to change that to something that makes sense to me. Okay. And let me see here. I gotta go like this. So I hit 0 to zero it out. And then I'm going to say 4.0. Okay, so that I'm just going to change it a little bit. And then it wants to do the same thing for this one. So I'm going to go back here and say like 3.5. Okay, so it's not totally square box. It's like a 4x3 box. Okay, something like that. Okay, now see how this is totally black? That means that this box has been fully dimensioned, meaning that it has a place that it anchors it to the center, and it has dimensions that you can't change. So one of the things that I can't do right now with this is let me get out. And if I want to get out of this tool, I'm going to hit escape. But one of the things I can't do is I can't move it now because I have to change all these. These are called constraints. So see how this is supposed to be perpendicular, and it's also parallel to that side. This one's parallel to that, but this did this all automatically for me, okay? And that's sort of good. People like sort of fully constrained drawings, but it's not necessarily key. Okay. What another thing too is if you hate the dimension. Okay. So what if I want to change this? Okay. Okay. Here we go. I can change this to like 10 inches. Okay. It'll be huge, right? I'm going to change it back. Maybe I'll change it square now. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just double clicking on the dimension and I can change it to like 3.5. Now it's totally square. Okay. That is a sketch. Okay. So when I'm done with my sketch, I'm going to go like this and I'm going to say I'm done. Okay. And what that does is it puts me back into the 3D world. And from here, we're going to extrude. Okay. So we're going to do that right away. Okay. So when you're here, if you pick this sketch, it'll help you out. See this? It's finding it for you, which is cool. Okay. If you don't do that, you can still click on this. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to click on an enclosed space like a cube here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude on it and see what it's doing for me. Okay. It's making like a little cube shape for me. Okay. So there's a bunch of different ways I can do this. Okay, so what it's doing is it knows to do this. Okay, it's considering itself a solid new part. Okay, so generally when you extrude, you're going to do this, right? It's right now it's not. There's no end to it, so I could just go like this, and it would go up, and I could go like this, and it would go down. So it's gonna try to do this like forever, right? Either way, right? Okay, and what I can do also is I can set like a second end to it, okay? So what I might do is I might do, and these are things like you can push through up to another face, okay? Or another part, right? Or I can drill like a hole through everything, okay? I'm kind of not doing that right now. So I'm gonna use the blind option. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, we made these like 3.5, right? And so like, I'm gonna go like this and say 1. I think it's 1.25, so it'll be like 1.75. Okay, and 1.75. This is like splitting it. 1.75. Okay, and lo and behold, there we are. We have a cube. Okay, so my cube looks like that. So it's like an absolute cube. Okay, and that's kind of what you do with this, right? And so anyway, so you get that, and one of the things you might want to do too now is put a hole in it, okay? So, or a shell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the shell thing. I'm going to go like this. So it's my cube. I'm going to put a shell in it, okay? I'm going to make this like the thickness of it. I don't know if you can see what's going on right now. It's kind of like drawing like a little inside cube, right? Okay. So I'm going to try to hollow this out. Oh, it doesn't know the part to hollow yet. Okay, so we're going to go like this. I'm going to do it on this. Okay. And then, I'm going to do it like this. There. And then what I need to do is make this 0, like thicken it. So if I go like this, you can see how it gets thicker. Okay, that's not bad. And let me see if I got this right. Okay, so what it did was it made the box, and it just sort of made like a hole in it. Okay, and that's sort of what you need for the box. Okay, and we can work on different things, but that's the basic idea. Okay, so that is an extrude. Okay, with a shell. Okay. So extrude in the end with shell. Okay, so that's it for what we're doing. Extrude and shell, and we'll talk to you later.